But whosoever doesn't bear his cross and come after me daily, perpetually, deliberately, cannot be my disciple. You have to suffer. You have to deny yourself. You have to lose your life. And this daily, perpetual, deliberate taking up the cross, this is universal for every Christian and for any and all disciples. I remind you again of how this passage begins. Luke 14, verse 25. There went great multitudes with him. And he turned and said unto them, that is, he taught them about discipleship because he knew there were too many hangers-on, too many wasters, too many people who didn't understand what following Christ really meant, and he wanted to sift them. And so he told them about the cost. Which means, and we continually need to hear this, that we as adults must take up our cross, and our children too. You have a child, let's say, just born, or 3 or 4, or 5, or 10, or 15, or 20, or 25. You must will not only that you take up the cross and your wife, and that's getting harder, but also your children. Because you must make the choice for yourself that it's worth it for me. And even though I know that they are going to suffer, and I will have to suffer through them, this is the only way of following the Lord Jesus. And then there's that word cannot. If you don't bear your cross and come after me, you cannot be my disciple. Do you know what cannot means? It means cannot. It means cannot just as much as it means cannot in John 3. Except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of heaven. No way around it. And if you don't take up your cross, you cannot be Christ's disciple either. In John 6, Jesus said, no man can come unto me, except the Father which has sent me draw him. That is, you cannot come to Jesus, but for irresistible grace, which gives you a new heart and works in you saving faith. Well, unless you take up your cross, you cannot be Christ's disciple. This is the word of Jesus. He has said it, and he won't deny it at the last day. He'll make one exception for anybody. And this is also because to be a Christian, by definition, is to be united to Jesus Christ. And not just any Christ, but the biblical Christ. And the biblical Christ bore a cross and died on a cross. And biblical Christians take up their cross and die to themselves and the old man and suffer persecution for Christ's sake before the world and the false church. So if Jesus died for you, you will and have died to sin and self. And if you don't take up your cross, it's because he did not die for you. 2 Timothy 2 gives us the same reasoning. If we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. If we suffer with him, we shall also reign with him. But if we deny him, he will also deny us. But the good news is, and it comes in deliberately at the end of every sermon, the good news is, for all of us here who are bearing our crosses, coming after Christ, denying ourselves, you are my disciple, and you cannot but be my disciple. And you cannot be lost. And you will persevere, because I will give you grace, because I died for you, to conform you to my image. And if you're my disciple, then you will be rewarded. You will live with Christ and reign with him. First humiliation, and then glorification.